Yo, what's good? Data stocks here, boys and ladies. Check it out. I'm just gonna go over my thoughts when it comes to politics, right? I want to tell you something, okay? I'm not really a political person, right? I really don't like getting caught up in that. To me, I just see it as a lot of manipulation of people's minds to get things accomplished or to get products sold. But look, I'm gonna tell you this. These days, it really seems like right now, October of 2025, it really feels like you can't say that you agree with Donald Trump in certain ways to a far left person and feel safe. Because honestly, I was talking to this girl and she was talking about how she thought it was okay that Luigi Mangione killed the CEO of United Healthcare. She thought it was okay that Charlie Kirk got killed over, people disagreeing with his politics, right? And I'm not trying to say that as like necessarily somebody that, is super big, like a right-wing person per se, right? I got beliefs that definitely could be on either side, and I'm very open-minded when it comes to political things. I think a lot of politics has to do with how people grow up. I think that many people, they could grow up in a liberal household, they could become a Republican. They could grow up in a Republican household, they could become a Democrat. But I'm going to tell you that I really feel like I've been experiencing a lot of the far left people thinking that violence is okay. And I think that my fundamental political beliefs is that if somebody has to resort to violence, they weren't very good at convincing people of their points. I think that violence is extremely dumb, and I think that essentially, if we have any belief that our political system could be modulated or impacted based on open discussion and whatnot, I think that the number one thing is actually respect for everyone. I think that if you have somebody that is making you upset and they're a Democrat, you should never resort to violence. You should only just discuss and try to figure out why somebody might believe something. And to the people on the left who think that it's okay to punch a Nazi, or okay to hurt people because they don't agree with you, like, you're completely wrong. And I'm willing to say that confidently, that you are completely wrong, and that it's kind of crazy how Nazi means nationalist socialist, right? And many people that are on the left would consider themselves a socialist. Like me per se, I think that healthcare, for example, should be pretty much free, but I definitely don't think that it's okay to kill a CEO because they are in the way of your belief. I think even people that do terrible crimes, I don't really believe in the death penalty per se either, but a lot of people believe in that. But look, I think ultimately I'm very disappointed with the people on the left. I think that many people on the left have normalized like violence being okay, and you're completely wrong for that. 100% wrong. And I think there's going to come a time when people on the right start being violent, and they're going to be completely wrong for that too. And so just anybody being violent towards anyone, killing, anything like that, that's completely wrong. And Democrats or people on the left might say, the people on the right are being violent because they're deporting people or stuff like that. That could be a valid point. That could be a valid point right there. But two instances of violence does not make something right. Like just because people on the right are being violent, you could say it doesn't mean that you should be violent towards people at all. You should never. Violence is never correct. And I think that the key for healing and getting into a better position is to have open discussion. And if you disagree with me, hey, please don't be violent to me, but give me your perspective. I'm open to to listening, and please no insults, because I see a lot of times people just feel, oh, it's the internet, like we can just be insulting people, but that's just not right, you know. I came to this belief from how I've lived, my lived experience, and I think everyone comes to the point that they're currently in the moment that you are presently somehow listening to my voice right now. You came to this moment somehow, and that's an important thing to consider, that everyone walks a different path in life. But I think that it's important that we mitigate violence and hate for one another, and we uphold, like we need to focus on understanding and love. So that's me, Data Stocks. That's my opinion. If you disagree with me, that's okay, and have a good day.